I'm Natalya, and I'm a beer sommelier and advanced cicerone. I teach people about beer for a living because I believe that beer is simply too delicious to remain undiscovered, and I want to help everyone find their favorite. In this series, we've been talking about what beer is made from, and while most beers are made with 4 ingredients, some brewers don't quite stop there. It's not unusual to find additional ingredients like fruit, herbs, or spices added to beers to make their flavors even more unique. For a recap of beer's 4 main ingredients, check out this video first, then come back here to learn more about the extra ingredients added to beer to help increase its flavor impact. Ready? Let's get started. Before hops were regularly added to beer, brewers used to bitter their beer with a mix of herbs and spices called gruit. Although the days of gruit are long gone, herbs and spices are still used in some classic styles, like the Belgian wheat beer, which is brewed with added orange peel and coriander seed. But plenty of other herbs and spices can also be used. Sometimes they'll take a seasonal inspiration, like pumpkin ales in the US that are spiced to taste like a pumpkin pie, with aromas of nutmeg, cinnamon, and allspice. Or warming holiday ales that smell like mulled wine or Christmas pudding. Ingredients like coffee, tea, chocolate, and chili peppers have also been included in a variety of styles, from Earl Grey IPAs to chocolate and chili imperial stouts. Fruits or fruit syrups are commonly added to beer, but their flavor impact changes based on when they're added to the brew. Traditional Belgian mixed fermentation styles, lambic and gueuze, often have fruit added in during their long aging process. But as these beers are still full of microorganisms that are actively fermenting, any sugars from the fruit will be consumed. This means that while the beer won't actually taste sweeter, it will take on color and flavor from the fruits. To sweeten up a beer, fruit or fruit syrups can be added into the beer after the yeast has been removed. This will add fruit color, flavor, and sweetness. You may see this approach taken with the addition of raspberry or blueberry syrups in an American wheat beer, for example, or with the addition of fruit purees into sour styles, like Berliner Weiss or Gose, to add an extra layer of flavor. As we mentioned in this video on malt, grains other than barley can be used to brew with to add additional flavors or textures to beer. Wheat has a higher protein content than barley, so it adds a fuller body and a slightly hazy appearance when added to styles like German wheat beer. Similarly, oats add a bit of body, and they also add a smooth, creamy texture when added into styles like oatmeal stout. Rye adds a bit of body and a hint of spice, too. It can really complement the hop aromas when added into an IPA, for example. Corn and rice are not used to add to, but to thin the body of beer styles like American lager. They provide a source of sugar without any additional protein, so they help to keep the beer's body light and crisp. Finally, brewers may choose to use alternative grains to make a gluten-free beer by using gluten-free grains like buckwheat or sorghum. A brewer may choose to add sugar directly into a brew. This won't sweeten up the beer though, as yeast will ferment it. Instead, it increases the alcohol content and helps to keep the body light. But some sugars may be added as a way to introduce new flavors, as maple syrup, molasses, honey, and Belgian candy sugar contain plenty of rich flavor compounds in addition to being a sugar source. In some cases, sugar may be used to change the mouthfeel or texture of a beer, like with lactose in milk stouts. As yeast can't ferment this sugar, it remains in the finished beer, making it taste sweeter and feel fuller. Ever since their invention more than 2,000 years ago, wooden barrels have played a crucial role in the storage, transport, and dispense of beers, wines, and spirits. But brewers would often go to great lengths to prevent the barrels from influencing the flavors of their beers, and they ditched wooden barrels for stainless steel kegs as soon as they could. But that's certainly not the case now. Many brewers intentionally are aging their beers in wooden barrels, either to make long-aged mixed fermentation beers, or to influence the flavors of their beers with the wine and spirits the barrels used to hold. Let's take a look at barrel-aged mixed fermentation beers first. As I mentioned in this video on yeast, mixed fermentation often takes place at ambient temperatures and can take from months to years. During this time, many of these beer styles, like lambic, Flanders Red, or American wild ales, will be aged in wooden barrels. The wild yeast and bacteria present in the beer will then take up residence in the wood, meaning that these barrels will continue to contribute sour and funky flavors to all future mixed fermentation beers that are aged in them. But barrels can be used for aging without sour and bacteria being introduced. Long aging in wooden barrels can be used to impart flavors from the wood itself, like in winemaking, or flavors from the wine and spirits these barrels used to hold. Bourbon barrels were used first, but these days anything from red wine to rum, tequila, and gin have all been experimented with. As you can tell, brewers like to get creative. The key is to choose a beer style that can stand up to the flavors and alcohol being imparted from these barrels. Styles like Imperial Stout and Belgian Dark Strong Ale are common choices. It's also important to note that each barrel will develop unique flavors, whether it contains wild yeast and bacteria or not. So most barrel-aged beers will be blends from different barrels. When blending, balance is key. So there you have it. There are all kinds of fun ways for brewers to add even more flavor into their beer, beyond beer's four main ingredients. So we now know what beer is made from, but how do we actually make it? That's what I'll cover in my next series on the brewing process. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it, and thanks for watching.